Good morning, everyone. Welcome to office hours. I see we have a small group of people kind of filtering in at the moment. Um, I don't know if there's anyone who is. Oops, sorry. I don't know if there's anyone who would like to get us started this morning. If you want to raise your hand, if you have a question, just to get us started. Take advantage of, no? People are kind of filtering in at the moment, so we'll give it a little time. I don't see any hands. I hope some of you who are on the call are going to be joining us either in person or virtually this weekend for forum. I hope. Hopefully I can actually run into you if you are there in person and introduce myself and meet some of you in person, which would be really nice as well. So, all right, we've got a quiet group this morning. Nobody with any questions?
Hi, Ronnie. I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, we are looking at having a regional conference next year and just looking for some advice. We'll have 3 different chapters coming together to both help fund and plan the event. Um, just looking for a way, how do we collaborate on one website and kind of the funding piece on the backside and registering? Is there another chapter that's done that? And how do you recommend doing that?
So I don't know, actually, Sean, I see is on the call. I think there has been that same kind of thing with the Columbia chapter and the Oregon chapter. I don't know, John, if you're here, if you wanted to pipe in. I'm not, I think probably, Nicole, the best person to talk to would be Jennifer Steffen. Who is, the liaison for our chapters. And certainly what you can do is, set up an event on one chapter website and collect all of the registrations, but I don't know how all of that transfer of funds and all of that happens. So I'm probably not the best person to, unless Nicole, unless Yvonne, you have an idea from another organization of how to handle something like that.
No, it sounds like what you're gonna have to do is choose which one is gonna have the registration on their website, and then that person's gonna that chapter is gonna take in the funds, and then they're going to have to do a disbursement out to the other 2 chapters, whatever the agreement is. That's the only thing there's no way to link 3 websites and 3 bank accounts to an event and split the money 3 ways.
Okay, thank you.
I do know, Nicole, that other chapters have done that kind of thing because they do host events, kind of that regional aspect of it. Um, I think probably your best bet is to reach out to Jennifer and she can kind of guide you and who you might reach out to talk to about that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Anyone with a question? If you'd like to raise your hand, let us know, or you can just type in and ask your question. Otherwise, I don't know, Yvonne, if you want to, we had spoken about showing the editing emails, either system emails or event emails. If you want to go start with that, and then if anyone has a question, we can go from there.
Sure. Okay, so as you are aware, you have in your website, you have the communications emailing module, and I'm assuming everybody is pretty much using that. I'm in the NIGP one here, not in a local chapter, so let me just see what I can do here. So this is the communications emails, and it's definitely a lot more robust than the other 2 email options we're going to look at today. This one allows you to create templates and save templates and pull them over. and then override a template. Once you've created a template, you can also override it and say, okay, now that I've edited this and I like the way this looks like, I'm going to make this a new template that I'm either going to make it a new template or I'm going to replace an existing template. So this one I think I pulled over was the general email. So let's say I made some edits to this and then I wanted to save it and I wanted this to be my new general email template. I can replace an existing template by going here. But like I said, this is a lot more robust. And when you go into each of these little objects within the email, you have all of these options up here for formatting. You can, right justify, left justify, center the text. You can create a new paragraph. You can indent, outdent. You can create a table within here. For instance, maybe you wanted to add a table to this, and you wanted the table to be 2 columns, 3 rows. And then, so now you've created this table, but this table is going to be, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Responsive. So if you have a lot of, like maybe you put in a picture here in the first column, and let's just find, let's choose that picture. That's a huge picture, obviously. And now and then maybe in this column, I only add a little bit of text. Because this table is responsive, this is what it's going to look like in the email. There's going to be a huge picture and then just another column that's just small amount of text. The way to override this is to go into the table and set the table as 100% table width. So you can go here and you can change the whole table. This is the table properties, and you could say that you want this table to be 100%, not pixel, but 100%. So now it's going to expand the entire width of the email, the body of the email. And now let's say you want each row to be 50%. So you can go back in, I'm right clicking within the table, and I'm going to the cell properties now. And I'm going to highlight all of the cells, and I'm going to say that I want each of the cells to be a 50% width. And so now it doesn't look like it right now, but when the email were to come through, it would make this image smaller and it would make this row 50% and the text row 50%. And if, let's say, maybe you don't want it like that and you would prefer the first column to be 70%. So I'm holding down my control button and I'm selecting this column, these 3, and I'm going to change this to 70%. And then I'm going to save. I just always save. And then I'm right clicking again. I'm going into the cell properties. And now I'm holding down my control button and I'm clicking these. And I'm going to change this to 30%. And so now this first row is going to be 70. And then you're going to have smaller text over here. And that's how you can work within tables. But this is in this email module. I'm not going to save any of this. But this is in the email module. And then if I save and close and I go to the system emails, that's the other communication emails. These are the system emails, which are emails that are automatically generated and sent to the member or non-member based on an activity, based on something that they do within the website. For instance, event registration confirmation. Right here, or renewal notices, if you have renewal notices set up to automatically send. When you go into these to edit, you get some formatting, but not a lot of formatting, as you can see. There is no way to create a table within here. So you can't create a table like we just did in the other communications emailing module. You can't drag over rows. So for designing in here, you're really kind of stuck with HTML. And the same with your event emails. If you go to your website and click on events and then go to configure, you've got email reminders in here. You can turn on email reminders for an event registration if you want, but you don't have to. but I'm going to show you what that is real quickly. If I were to go to an event, let's say this one right here. Let's see, I need one that is, yeah, okay. And I go to basic info. And a lot of you probably already know this already. Maybe most of you know this part already. If I go to basic info and I click on email confirmation, this pops up right here. And then if I click on email, I can automatically send a reminder however many days that I want outside. I can send up to 2. So this event is in February. Maybe I want to send the first reminder 7 days ahead of time, and then the second reminder the day before the event. And now this will automatically send an email to everybody who's registered for that event 7 days before and then 1 day before. I'm not going to save this because actually I don't even think you're taking registration for this event. But then there's also this additional info box here where maybe you put something like, we look forward to seeing you at the event. Okay, so I'm not going to save this, but I'm going to show you where this shows up. And just to go back to the way it was. Okay, so now where those events live is in this configure email reminders. So that is the event reminder to registrants. That's the email that I just turned on but didn't really turn on to send to everybody 1 in 7 days before the event. And you can edit it by clicking here. Now, when you edit it, you see that it's very basic. It's a lot of spacing, a lot of information maybe you don't even want in there. But what you have to remember is if you edit this, you cannot edit it per event. So you cannot go in here and remove one of these system tags for event location because it's going to pull the event location, the short description, the event title from the event that it's when it sends out the reminder. You cannot change this and put in July 15, 2025, because now anytime that you send that email, that automatic email, it's going to come through with July 15, 2025, instead of the system tag, which was the event date and time. Let's see, I think that was it, event date and time. It's going to now having this, it's going to pull it from the event. But if you put in the actual date, it's going to send that same email every single time with that, whatever you overrode with that date. So you need to keep your system tags in here. However, you can do a little bit of formatting to make this look a little nicer, because basically all this comes through is this ugly text and it looks really bad. So it's up to you whether or not you want to do this. I'm going to cancel this and not save it. But if you did want to do it, actually, let me just show you one more thing. Let's say I did put this 2025 in here and I just screwed it up and I saved. Now you can see that there's a green check mark, which means that I've customized it, and there's a trash can. If I hit the trash can, it will revert back to the original email that ClubExpress has built in here. So I'm just going to hit that trash can, and now it's going to go back to event date and time instead of July 15th. Okay. So just real quickly, you don't have to do any of this, but this is something you can do if you want to do it. So you could go in here and there is no way to make a table, but you can do a little bit of things. Maybe you don't want this big space here in between the date and time. And so maybe you want to get rid of that. I'm just going to put my cursor right there and I'm going to backspace. Now, if I hit space there, now it brings it right underneath the line. Maybe the short description is fine. Additional info, that's where I put in that box where I said, we look forward to seeing you. Again, you don't need this big space in between, or maybe you never use additional info. If you never use additional info, if you remove this, then it won't fill in any additional info. But if you leave it there, I'm just going to hit the back button, and you don't have any additional info in the box, then it's going to have additional info here, a huge space, And then it's going to go down to the event URL. So maybe you just want to get rid of all that. That's completely up to you, but you can get rid of that. And then you can save this if you like. That makes it a little bit more compressed and nicer looking. Again, I'm not going to save that because I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete that because I don't want to save that. But I'm not going to actually delete it because I'm going to play around one more little thing you can do. Now, I don't know if people use ChatGPT very often. Or any other open source, or any open source AI, but it's pretty good for doing some things like getting some HTML code, really simple code. And I created this, I asked ChatGPT for this earlier today. What is the HTML code for creating a table 100% width with 1 column and 3 rows, centering the text inside each row? And it gave me the code. So I can just copy that code and then I can go in here. What I'm going to do though is I don't want to get rid of any of this right now. So I'm just going to go up here and put my cursor before the paragraph begins. And I'm going to put that code in there. And now you can see, so it didn't center, but you can still play around with that in the ChatGPT. But now you can see you've got row 1. So maybe here you want to right click on there. And I'm sorry, you want to go into your row and you want to add an image. And let's say maybe the image contains logo. Maybe you want to add your logo up there. And then maybe you just want to take, this is a reminder, and I'm just going to cut and paste that right in here. And then maybe at the bottom, you want to just do like a footer, or maybe you don't need a footer. Maybe, and if you don't need a footer, then you can delete this row by right clicking in here and then delete cell. And now you just have a little bit something a little nicer. And that's, again, completely up to you whether or not you ever want to do anything like this. But ChatGPT is really good for if you, and maybe right now it didn't center the text in each row. So I could, say to it, it didn't center the text. Could you provide a new code or something? But it's pretty nice. And again, you don't have to worry about screwing it up, because let's say you save that and you don't like it and it's screwed up, you can always revert back to the original and start over, or just revert back to the original and leave it alone by hitting the trash can. And then I do see, can you walk us through when there is a change in, oh, yes, okay. So before I move on to anything else, did anybody have any questions or comments about this? Okay. All right, so your KAPP has a question here. Okay, can you walk us through when there is a change in shared director positions? How does that work in tags? Really looking at the password reset. I'm not sure I understand your question, Nicole.
Sure. So, in the system emails, the password reset email, there's a membership director tag, and that person no longer is in our system. He's resigned from that role, but we have a new person. How do we change that? Because I can't get it to change. So maybe I'm going to the wrong spot.
No, you're so this is to me, this is one of the trickiest parts in ClubExpress. Because it's multiple steps. But what I suggest doing is, first of all, sending yourself a system tag
Okay.
test email. And then that'll show you, and it'll show you each one of the tags currently what it's going to be replaced with. Okay. And then you can figure out if there's any other tags that you need to change. Then you go to it's the titles. There's a couple, like I said, this part I always have to stop and think about, and I've been working in ClubExpress for 10 years, so it's not, and you don't do it very often. You usually only do it once a year when you have some new turnover in leadership. And so when you do something only once a year, it does get a little tricky to remember all the proper steps. So let's first start with the titles. So you said it's your membership chair.
Yes.
Right now, your membership chair, okay, your membership director is set to your membership chair, and we are going to look and see who you have assigned to your membership chair. So now we went from titles, and then we look at contact us, and the membership chair is set for Jacob Crowder.
Okay. Got it.
And then, so you would just change, you'd click this to change it, and you'd select the new membership chair.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have a question? Thank you, Yvonne, for showing us all the email stuff. That's great. And some of that HTML code. It is true what Yvonne has mentioned. AI, it's true. You can actually go to AI and they will write the code that you need to populate. So things are definitely changing there as well. Well, I don't think we have it. Was there anything else that we thought we might want to cover, Yvonne? Otherwise, I'm thinking we will probably end early since we don't see anyone with any questions. Was there anything else, Yvonne?
No, that's all I have.
All right, well, we do appreciate everyone coming today. We don't have anything else to cover. We generally, go based on the questions that people come and participate and ask. So,
I
yes.
have a question.
Oh,
Mhm.
perfect. Yes.
I'm sorry, I hate to do that while you're wrapping up. Real quickly,
No,
good morning,
no.
everyone.
Good
Um,
morning.
I know we covered a lot in the last couple of months since we started, and I want to know have we been codifying or taking summary of the questions asked and just the responses or the steps taken to get to those inquiry answers? Is there like
Do you
a
mean like,
notebook for all the questions that was asked during these session times? Because I would love to go back and go through as while I'm updating our website and just practice on.
so just so I understand your question, so we do record all of these sessions. So any questions that are asked during office hours, and I keep a note. So to try to keep track of what's covered. So when you're going there, you can see what was covered based on each video. So there is that. So those questions
Okay.
are answered in videos. But then, yes, Yvonne is showing also a page on all of your sites under the About tab generally that I created, which is kind of an FAQ quick, access page for questions. I certainly need to update this, but it does have some
Okay.
quick access information. This is only available though, just FYI, viewable for full admins on your site. So if you are a coordinator, you probably won't be able to have access to this, but it is there. So I don't know if that
Okay.
answers the question, and it does.
It helps, definitely.
Okay. Certainly with these recordings, to have, go to this minute to get an answer for that, would be much quicker. Unfortunately, we don't have that capacity, but, I at least keep track of the issues covered in order so that hopefully you can kind of scroll through the videos rather quickly if there's something, if you're looking for a specific issue. So, but yes, certainly, we try as much as we can to address, the questions that come in.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure. All right.
Of course.
Well, thank you, everyone, truly. We will do this again in August, the second Tuesday in August. So look for the invites, and we really appreciate all of you attending, and we will see you at the next one, hopefully. Thank you, Yvonne.
Good luck at forum this week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.